Hi, my name is Damon Brown of DamonBrown.net. My thing is helping you as a solopreneur, as a side hustler, or any other type of non-traditional entrepreneur. Today we're talking about Nipsey Hussle. He actually passed away a little while back. It was the early morning hours, I believe, of April Fool's Day, April 1st of 2019. He's missed terribly within the community, the hip-hop community, but also the entrepreneurship community. I loved his work as a musician, sure, but also as an entrepreneur, and him creating amazing stuff from the really tough streets of Crenshaw and Compton and the areas that he was at over in South Central LA. So rest in peace to him. But what we're talking about is his method for actually building that amazing legacy when he passed away, when he was still in his 20s, which is really a shame. So there's a quote that he has that is fantastic, and I want to make sure I get this straight. When you say follow me on Twitter and you get 10 million people to follow you, you just leverage your influence to add value to an app that you have no ownership in. Each of those users is worth $21. When the owners of Twitter go to get their valuation of the company in order to sell 50% of the company, you're the person who added 10 million people to that platform. Do the math, right? But the owners are the only ones getting a huge payday. Man, if I could repeat that again without wasting too much time, I would. Think about what he just said. As we speak, we're talking about Clubhouse, which is a vocal app that allows people to connect into Clubhouse rooms. I think that's what they're called. I'm not on it. And they just had a big valuation this week as I'm recording this. We've seen this with a lot of different types of apps. I've actually been an app creator. I've done 2 apps. My second one, called Cuddler, ended up getting really big. We had 250,000 users, and we ended up selling it at a profit about a year after we launched. So I understand both sides of this equation. And he's speaking the truth here. Even though he's coming from a musician standpoint, he's also speaking from an entrepreneurship standpoint. So let's break it down as far as how he was able to build his worth so quickly, again, even though he was assassinated relatively young in his life. The first thing is to actually know your worth. Know what you're contributing to anything that you're doing. I literally have a book, you can see behind me, other side, called Bring Your Worth. One of the tenets I talk about in there is knowing your legacy, knowing your value. And also another tenet is knowing that everything is a partnership. So you're actually bringing your worth to any type of commitment that you make, whether it's on contract or it's a handshake, it doesn't matter. It could be $1 million company that you're working with and you're a small indie, or you could be the person that's in charge of the big company and you're working with a smaller individual. It doesn't matter. They're all partnerships. We're bringing our worth to a certain thing. So if everyone left Twitter today, like at this very moment, and I think Twitter has, let's say, 200 million active users, right? If the 200 million active users, including myself, decided to just stop, then Twitter's valuation, because they're a public company, would go down, like really down. Like it would be pennies, right? If not negative, right? Right. The founders would end up owing people something, and the VCs that invested in it would be pretty upset about that. So we actually have the power. That's what Nipsey was talking about, is that we're contributing, including Clubhouse, which particularly in the African American community, and I would argue perhaps in the Latinx community, but definitely in the African American community, we helped create that vibe that turned into, with Clubhouse's case, this week they got a $1 billion valuation. 1 billion with a B. That's huge. Again, I've been on both sides. I know those numbers. Whew, that's a big valuation. But that's based on the backs of people like myself who are creating the conversations that are happening in Clubhouse, and that's what makes it valuable. Again, it's not the app itself or the platform itself that's valuable, it's the people that contribute to it. Nipsey understood that, whether he's talking about apps, or you talk about Twitter or Facebook or Clubhouse, the new one, which started actually after he passed away a little while ago, or you're talking about the music industry itself, where the reason why Death Row Records or Priority Records, if I want to date myself back to the old school Ice Cube days, or the more recent ones like Jive Records or TDE, but amazing companies who are doing cool stuff, but their power is based on the individuals that they sign. That's why signing individuals is so important. Actually, TDE isn't a label, but it actually helps get their steed over to the proper labels. But it's still the same idea. Their value is based on the company that they keep We are that company. So understand your value once again you get into that. Number one, know your worth. Number two thing, which I think Nipsey did brilliantly, is connect directly with your audience. Now, his hustle was actually similar to mine. We were actually doing it at the same time. I had a lot of his interviews bookmarked. Seriously, it was amazing stuff that he was talking about over the years, and I was really sad when he passed away, because I considered him a peer, even though he's quite a bit younger than me, or was quite a bit younger than me. He ended up doing mixtapes, which is nothing original or nothing new. People have been doing mixtapes forever. Mixtapes are basically when you press and create your own CD or your own music, and you do it yourself, you DIY as they say, and you get it directly to the public. It could be from the trunk of your car, as E40 and Too Short used to do over on the West Coast, particularly in the Bay Area. Or it could be, today, it could be me having my own publishing imprint called Bring Your Worth and sending it directly to you. He did that, but he did that on a different level. 2013, he had a mixtape called Crenshaw. It was $100 for this mixtape. I can't remember how many songs were on it, but it ended up being like $10 a song. $100 for this mixtape. And him having pop-up shops called Marathon, because it's supposed to be the long distance spread. He ended up having pop-up shops all over the place, particularly in central Los Angeles. But he ended up doing it. I think he did a pop-up shop in New York, and Jay-Z came through and contributed and all that, so it had a lot of attention. But when you do it on that level, he was able to do that because he connected directly to his audience. And later on it came out, I didn't learn this until after he passed away, unfortunately. He used iPhone or phone technology to actually text and connect with his fans directly. I think he used email campaigns. He used all these different things to actually connect with his audience. So he didn't need the major label backing. Now, he actually worked with a major label with his last album. I think it was called Victory Lap. But that was a partnership, because you look at any of his great interviews, just look up Nipsey Hussle, look up the interviews, particularly the one with Rap Radar over with Elliott Wilson and B-Dot. Shout out to them. They're great people. I've connected with them in the past. And he'll talk about how when he ended up working with these indie labels, he knew exactly what he was worth, because he already connected with his fans. When you connect with your fans and you have what Seth Godin talks about as a minimal viable audience, then you can charge them certain rates because you know what experience that they want. For instance, for my indie book, the one that's coming out as we speak, Built From Now, How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World, this book is $25. It's $25 because it's an indie book, because there's more overhead with it, because I'm not Penguin, so I can't drop the price. Shout out to Penguin, I actually have books with them, so no offense to them. But I don't have I'm not like a Walmart where I can just mass produce all of it and I can make it for the cheap. At the same time, people are buying, and thank you for the support, the folks that are already supporting Build From Now, because I can charge $25 for it, because I'm talking directly to you through this channel that you're listening or watching me on, through the books and the writing that I've done, through the ink column that I have, through joindamon.me, which is my most essential asset. That's an email list where every week at Wednesday at 5:55 a.m., I send an email newsletter out, and I connect with y'all, I chat with y'all, we chop it up, we have conversations. That's happened every week at this point for 5 years. Every week, Wednesday at 5:55 a.m. So when I come out with a new product, whether it's like the Bring Your Worth mug, which came out 2 years ago when Bring Your Worth came out, or the t-shirt with Built From Now that I'm wearing right now, you get it at damonbrown.net. And when I do stuff like that, we already in communication. I don't need, no disrespect, a Penguin or a Random House to be the middleman for that. If you do that, then you're more in control of your destiny. There's nothing wrong with the big major deals. That's cool. I've taken my share of big deals. Nothing wrong with that. Understand, though, that the wider that gap is and the more middlemen or women there are in that process, the further you're going to be from your audience. Nipsey was really able to serve his audience directly. That's why within a short period of time, I want to say he died in his late 20s, maybe early 30s. In that short period of time, he's able to accumulate a lot of wealth and a lot of goodwill. Again, I've never met Nipsey, but he had such an impact on me, and I considered him a peer. So I hope you're able to take some of that wisdom from him. It's definitely worth listening to the brother's story and all the amazing stuff that he's done. Beyond this conversation, definitely looking up on YouTube, particularly the B-Dot and Elliott Wilson interview over on Rap Radar that came out, I want to say 2017, 2016. Anyway, if you want more insight into maximizing your resources and going on your particular marathon, head on over to buildfromnowquiz.com. That's buildfromnowquiz.com. It's obviously based on my new book, Build From Now, How to Know Your Power, See Your Abundance, and Nourish the World. It will actually give you insight into the best resources that you have. We all have 4 resources: focus, agility, time, and energy. Focus, agility, time, and energy. I call them the fates. Take this quick quiz. It's free. It takes 2 minutes. It's like 3 or 4 multiple choice questions. Hundreds of y'all have taken it. Thank you. Once you take the quiz, then you know what your biggest resource is, and then you'll really be able to maximize whatever you got going on, particularly in this amazing, intense period of time that I'm recording this in and that you might be listening to this in. Anyway, remember to always bring your worth and that you can always build from now.